Tonight on News Watch, Paris police announced arrests after an incident involving a gun at a park. We'll have the newest information in what's next in the case.
Plus, a local nonprofit shares their work helping victims of sexual assault. The special events they have planned this month coming up. Ben?
Cloudy and windy today across central Illinois. That didn't keep temperatures down for us, though, up into the 80s for the highs for some of our communities. Now, these temperatures will be even warmer during the day tomorrow, but there's plenty of change in store. This is News Watch. Your Monday evening edition starts now.
The Charleston House proudly supports Newswatch. Now welcoming guests on Charleston's historic 6th Street. The Charleston House Bed and Breakfast Inn offers refined accommodations in a beautifully restored bed and breakfast. For booking information, visit craigcollection.com or call the number on screen.
TCI Realty, Charleston area's real estate connection, commercial, land and farm, and residential real estate. Experienced realtors with an up-to-date website at tcirealty.net. TCI Realty supports the students of WEIU Newswatch.
Three people are arrested after an incident at a Paris park earlier this month. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Olivia Bennett.
And I'm Andrew Spade. Here's what we know. On the night of Friday, April 3rd, authorities say they responded to White Oaks Park following several calls of a disturbance involving a gun. After arriving on scene, officers say they secured the area and called for EMS to treat an injured man. This afternoon, police announced they've made 3 arrests in the case, including Jordan J. Coleman, Jesse L. Coleman, and Jaden A. Reynolds. Paris police say more information, including a list of charges, will release pending an initial court appearance tomorrow afternoon, and will continue following the story. In a Newswatch follow-up, we're learning more about the arrest of a former Secretary of State police officer last week. On Friday, we told you 50-year-old Brian Grove of Taylorville had been taken into custody after an Illinois State Police child pornography investigation. According to court records, Grove had been charged with 2 counts of child pornography and has pleaded not guilty. Those records show Grove had been denied pretrial release and is set to be back in court this Friday. Authorities acknowledged that last week Grove's wife is a Taylorville police officer, and court records also show an order of protection issued for her against Grove on Friday.
Authorities are investigating a weekend fire at a condemned Champaign apartment building. Saturday morning, firefighters responded to a report of a 3-story building apartment fire in the 300 block of South County Fair Drive. On arrival, crews say they saw smoke and fire coming from a lower level apartment. Firefighters say they were able to put out the fire, but were later called out of the building for their safety. The cause of the fire is still under investigation.
Good evening. Cloudy skies as we look off our WeatherBug camera looking off towards the west of Eastern Illinois University. Cloudy skies were with us for most of the day today. Those winds coming in from the south and southwest helped warm up our temperatures today. Our lowest high 77 degrees here in Charleston, but we were as warm as 84 degrees up to the north in Champaign, 82 degrees for our high in Taylorville. Those wind gusts are continuing to stay on the stronger side. Some of these wind gusts were closer to 45 miles an hour yesterday. Right now, though, only around their strongest 20 to 25 miles an hour across our area. Area conditions right now are starting to cool off just a little bit, down to 79 degrees in Champaign, 77 degrees in Charleston. We'll be staying on the milder side tonight, and we could see one of our warmest days yet in 2026. We'll have the full forecast coming up.
Thanks, Ben. April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and one local organization is sharing their work to help survivors. Prevail Illinois, formerly SACUS, is a nonprofit serving survivors of sexual violence. The organization has offices in Robinson, Olney, and Charleston. The theme for this year's Sexual Assault Awareness Month is 25 Years Stronger, marking the 25th year anniversary honoring the month. Prevail's Executive Director Kai Newsom talks about the amount of services and help that the organization provides.
So we provide trauma-informed, client-centered services to survivors of sexual violence. And we provide counseling services, advocacy services. Those advocacy services include legal advocacy, medical advocacy, and case management. And then we also have prevention education and community engagement education services.
During April, members of Prevail and survivors have chosen to wear teal clothes to spread awareness. Prevail plans to host multiple events this month, including a concert in Mattoon April 24th. Gas prices tracking website GasBuddy reports that Illinois gas prices have risen almost 10 cents per gallon in the last week. The survey of over 4,300 Illinois gas stations show a 9.8 cent increase in gallon pricing across the state. Now, this follows the trend of rising prices at the pump across the country, with the national average price of gas rising just over 39 cents per gallon in the last month. GasBuddy lists $4.17 as the cheapest price per gallon in Charleston, with lower reported prices of $3.79 in Effingham and $4.09 in Tuscola. And once you're fueled up, local law enforcement is asking drivers not to crowd the plow. They say with planting season drawing near, it's important for drivers to stay alert and share rural roads. The Champaign County Sheriff's Office points out farm equipment is big and often moves slower than regular traffic. Deputies say tractors may also need extra room for those wide turns. The newest figures from the Illinois Department of Transportation show 275 crashes involving farm equipment statewide in 2024, with 4 of them being deadly.
It's the highest honor in the state, and this year's list of Lincoln laureates are officially in the history books. Over the weekend, Governor J.B. Pritzker and Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton gathered at SIU Edwardsville to honor 5 remarkable Illinoisans for their contributions to humanity and the state. This year's class receiving the Order of Lincoln includes businessman Larry Geese, political advisor Valerie Jarrett, columnist and author Blair Kamen, civil rights activist Reginald Petty, and former Secretary of State Jesse White.
Because like all of you, I love this state, and especially our people, the kindest, most genuine and hardworking people in the entire country. When we gather each year for this convocation, we are celebrating the greatness of the land of Lincoln, as exemplified by our most successful Illinoisans.
For all of us who think we know what it is we're going to do with our life, we always get a shock, don't we? It seems like it's always true of somebody else or some other higher power.
Governor Pritzker praised the recipients for leading with vision and compassion. They joined more than 350 distinguished Illinois residents who's also received the Order of Lincoln over the last 5 decades. A local hospital group is offering high schoolers a chance to learn more about working in healthcare. HSHS is accepting applications for summer high school boot camps at their hospitals in Decatur, Effingham, and Springfield. Hospital officials say the job shadowing experience helps students learn about various hospital roles, gain hands-on experience, and make professional connections. The camps are free to students, and HSHS boot camp applications are due by May 2nd, with each date and location requiring its own application. More information can be found at hshs.org. Well, it sure was a warm day around central Illinois today.
That's true, but could we expect some showers soon? Ben Whitney returns with a full check of your Skywatch forecast.
Showers will be on their way, but we are expecting one of our warmest days of 2026 so far. Temperatures in the mid to upper 70s, closer to what we're seeing in Memphis and Miami right now here in east central Illinois. But those warmer temperatures tomorrow will play for some severe weather chances tomorrow evening. We'll have the full details on that right after this.
So, a beaver walks into a grocery store, right? No, it's not a joke. It's a thing that happened in the Canadian town of Hannah. As in Nickelback's hometown of Hannah, you ask? The very same. Just look at this photograph. Anywho, video posted by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police shows the surprised shopper pop through the entrance of the business, and then, seemingly realizing its mistake, it attempts to exit, but to no avail. RCMP officials say they were contacted about the trespasser, responded, and used non-forceful means to coax the beaver back outside, where it was released. They posted photos in case the beaver was spotted elsewhere, saying he's not considered armed and dangerous, but his tail was pretty big. Watch firefighters rescue a stuck puppy seen peeking out of a chimney top in Michigan. After neighbors spotted the tiny pup atop the chimney of the crumbling home, Detroit Fire Department officials responded and set up a ladder rescue, climbing to the roof and pulling the pup to safety. They brought it back to level ground and reportedly nicknamed it Stack before handing it over to Michigan Humane, who says Stack is now working on gaining some much-needed weight and will soon be made available for adoption. Finally, watch a group of Utah runners put the fast in fast food in an attempt to break the most fast food eateries visited in a 24-hour period. KSTU reports the group gathered and got moving in Salt Lake County, making quick stops for small bites, sampling, then scurrying to the next place. Organizers made a map so supporters could keep track of the pack in real time, and the group says they totaled 176 eateries when it was all over. The current Guinness World Record is 150 fast food restaurants, so time will tell if this group's fleet of foot fast food feet will be the new record to beat. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Good evening. Warm and windy today across the area, but we didn't see the rainfall that some other parts of central Illinois saw, or just the state of Illinois in general. You may be able to look right above our satellite radar label there. Some severe storms passed by Kankakee earlier today. We do have the chance to see some more of those storms over the next few days. High temperatures today up into the 80s for a lot of us. 80 degrees on the dot in Effingham and Indicator. 84 degrees was our warmest spot in Champaign. Our coldest spot was actually us here in Charleston, only up to 77 degrees today for our highs. Those temperatures are still on the warmer side, but already back down into the upper 70s in Champaign. Cloudy conditions for a lot of us. That'll continue to be the case as we move overnight tonight, but we will be staying well above those average lows for this time of year. 68 degrees for our overnight low. That'll be helped by those partly cloudy skies kind of acting as a blanket to insulate that solar radiation that we received throughout the daytime today, paired with those strong winds up to 30 miles an hour coming out of the southwest. And we'll see even warmer temperatures throughout our day tomorrow. 84 degrees for our high in Charleston. We'll start out the morning with mostly cloudy skies. Then those clouds will start to lighten up a little bit, help to get some more of that sunlight down onto the ground. All that warmth will act as some energy for some potential severe weather as we move overnight Tuesday and into Wednesday. But these winds will continue to stay strong throughout the day, close to 20 to 25 miles an hour during some of the afternoon portions across central Illinois. Looking at our futurecast here, you can see those clouds starting to move across our area. Some northern portions of our area do have the chance to see a spare shower or a thunderstorm as we get towards sunrise tomorrow morning. Those will push out. The real threat that we're tracking is going to be overnight Tuesday and into Wednesday. Some cells along this line of showers could be on the severe side. We'll have more on that in just a moment, but rainy conditions will hang around as we get towards our Wednesday and for a lot of the midweek portion across central Illinois. For the rest of our day today and towards tomorrow morning, that northern cell that's going to be mainly along the I-72 corridor does have the chance to bring some potential severe weather, only under a marginal risk for some of us overnight tonight. Now Tuesday again is the main chance we're tracking. A slight risk for some of our northern counties, us here in Coles County, and a lot of the middle sections of our viewing area, only under that marginal risk. We'll continue to track chances as we get closer to that. Right now, though, the big threats we're looking at, damaging wind gusts close to 60 miles an hour or potentially even exceeding that 60-mile-an-hour mark. Some hail could be above or close to 1.5 inches in diameter. We're not as concerned about the tornado risk with this system moving through, but with this time of year, with the spring storm season, could always see that chance pop up for some tornadic activity. Again, moving in Wednesday night into Thursday under a marginal risk across our area, so a couple chances for severe weather during the middle portions of our work week here in central Illinois. It's going to bring a fairly decent amount of rain by the time Tuesday night ends and we get to Wednesday morning. Most of that rain will be to the north of our area, close to 1/2 inch in some communities. Looking forwards as we roll this through Thursday, could get close to 1 inch of total rainfall here in Charleston. We'll see temperatures staying well above average for this time of year, but those temperatures will gradually start to drop back down Saturday and especially into Sunday. Looking at your 7-day forecast, that is very evident by Sunday. 52 degrees for our high on Sunday. We'll be back near average for this time of year by the start of next work week, so very warm, but that is going to act as fuel for some of these thunderstorms. We'll keep you updated as we get closer to tomorrow night.
Thanks, Ben. Boy, sure it was beautiful out there today.
Yeah.
It was beautiful, but I don't understand how it can be 80 and 50 in the same week.
That's Illinois for you.
Come on.
Anyway, well, thanks, Ben. Coming up tonight in sports, a local high school baseball team gets a chance to play in an MLB stadium. We'll have a recap in just a moment.
Wow, and a history is made in the 90th edition of the Masters. Sports Watch's Matthew Posner knows a lot about golf, and he'll have the full highlights. Thanks for watching. Your WEIU Sports Watch report is coming up next.
I stood in this very studio for the first time. just as today's WEIU Newswatch students do. I was nervous, excited, and ready to learn. But WEIU believed in me. As a Newswatch alum, I learned how to tell stories that matter. I found my voice here. Today, WEIU needs your help to keep that same opportunity alive for the next student, the next story, and the next 40 years. Please consider giving using one of the methods on your screen. WEIU needs you now more than ever.
We start tonight on the diamond. Eastern Illinois baseball has only lost one game so far this month, with a struggling Southern Indiana squad coming into town. The Panthers led all the way until the top of the 6th when USI notched 3 to take their first lead of the game. The Screaming Eagles took a 6-4 lead in the top of the 8th yet again, but in the bottom of the inning, EIU pulled away, winning 9-6. 6 Panthers recorded at least one RBI, while Chris Worcester and James Love notched 2 apiece. Eastern now has a 6-game winning streak after the weekend sweep over USI. And following this weekend's action, Bryce Riggs has been named Ohio Valley Conference Pitcher of the Week for the second time this season. Riggs is off to a historic start for the Panthers. He tossed another complete game last week, allowing only 1 run on 1 hit, and Riggs collected 6 strikeouts while holding opponents to a .036 batting average. Riggs is also just one of 2 pitchers in the entire NCAA this season with multiple complete games. He is also first place in the OVC in ERA, opposing batting average, and strikeouts, and is slowly building an MLB-worthy resume. And that's not all. Also setting records on the national stage is Panther left fielder Brett Stanley, who now holds the longest active hitting streak in all of college baseball with 29 consecutive games. He sits 7 games ahead of Maddox Haley from Gonzaga, who holds the second longest streak with 22 games. Stanley, Riggs, and the rest of the Panthers will be back in action on Wednesday at home against St. Xavier. As for the Panthers softball squad, they spent the weekend on the road in Cape Girardeau, squaring off against SEMO. But they started off flat-footed, falling in the first 2 games of the series, only the second and third conference losses of the year for the Panthers. In Game 3, Brianna French led the way from the mound, tossing over 3 scoreless innings en route to a 6-4 EIU win. The Panthers improved to 22-20 overall, 14-3 in the OVC, and will hit the road on Wednesday to take on St. Louis in the Gateway City. At Lakeland College, their baseball and softball teams both look to continue strong seasons as they wrap up weekend play. In Game 1 of Saturday's doubleheader, Lakeland Baseball won an absolute shootout against Lincoln Trail, coming back from down 10-1 in the 3rd inning to win 18-17. The Lakers won the series finale 5-3 to complete the sweep. Lakeland will now look to keep the momentum going as they travel to Belleville to take on Southwestern Illinois College on Tuesday at 3. As for Lakeland softball, they come into a weekend doubleheader against Rend Lake with a 28-10 record and 21-3 conference record. And the Lakers stay hot, dominating both games to improve to 30-10 and 23-3 in conference play. They now will head to Robinson to take on Lincoln Trail for a Tuesday doubleheader, with Game 1 set to start at 2. Moving to local high school action, Mattoon baseball had an eventful weekend. On Friday night, the Green Wave couldn't get the bats going against Altamont in a 7-0 loss. But on Sunday afternoon, Mattoon had the opportunity to play at Busch Stadium, the home of the Cardinals, in St. Louis. However, the Green Wave struggled in that matchup against Edwardsville, falling 11-1. The Green and Gold won't have much time to relax as they're set to take on Muhammad Seymour twice before taking on Tolono Unity and Newton later this week. As for other high school baseball action over the weekend, Tolono Unity bounced back from a 7-9 loss to Monticello to beat Cartersville twice. Tuscola played a pair of contests this weekend. They fell to Eastland, but shut out Arthur Okaw Christian 10-0. Finally, Teutopolis has been on their A game, outscoring Salem 24-1 in the weekend series to move to 11-1. In the majors, the Chicago Cubs are in dire need of a win. They've lost the first 2 of the series to the Pittsburgh Pirates and are last in the NL Central. Can they recover in the series finale? Well, it couldn't have started much worse as O'Neill Cruz sends this ball on a cruise for a leadoff homer. Only an inning later, someone called Denny's again because it's time for a grand old grand slam. Brandon Lau piles on more salt to Chicago's wounds and gives Pittsburgh a monster lead. but Chicago does claw their way back into the game. And in the 8th, Michael Bush rips a line drive to left field, bringing in a run. And then a defensive disaster for Pittsburgh. A throwing error brings in Dansby Swanson, and this game is tied at 6. With the game all tied up still in the bottom of the 9th, veteran catcher Carson Kelly is the hero once again, smacking it into the right field gap, and that's all, folks. The Cubbies fly the W and move to 7-8, and just kicked off their 3-game series with the Phillies moments ago. Staying in Chi-Town, the White Sox have been shut out in consecutive games. Can they finally get their bats going in the series finale against the Kansas City Royals? Well, the White Sox finally learned how to hit in the 2nd inning as Tanner Murray gives the bullpen an extra baseball to throw around on this 2-run blast. However, an ugly 3rd inning by the Sox gives 3 runs to the Royals, giving them the lead. But in the 4th, who's ready for a Colson crusher? Montgomery unloads on this one, giving the White Sox a 4-3 lead thanks to their second 2-run homer of the game. We enter the 7th tied at 5, and with the bases loaded for Chicago, KC reliever John Schreiber throws a pitch that looks a lot like something I would throw. The White Sox capitalize, scoring what would become the game-winning run. Chicago wins this one 6-5, but earlier today traded Lenyn Sosa, who was at the plate for that winning run, to the Toronto Blue Jays. Masters Sunday. It's a tradition unlike any other. Entering the final round, defending champion Rory McIlroy is tied for the lead with reigning Players champion Cameron Young, with world number 1 Scotty Scheffler and 3-time runner-up Justin Rose lurking. Who will win the green jacket? Rose made a big charge to tie the lead on the back 9, but a disastrous chip on 12 would lead to a bogey and knock him out of contention. On the same hole, McIlroy would have his major moment, sticking it to 7 feet and draining the birdie for a 2-shot lead. Scheffler made a late move, birdieing the 16th to move within 2. But despite a poor drive on 18, nobody was catching Rory McIlroy, who taps in at the last to win the 2026 Masters. McIlroy led by 6 at the halfway point, but gave nearly all of it up on Saturday. And Rory said he planned to celebrate accordingly.
We lose a lot more in golf than we win, so I think when the winning comes around, you have to celebrate it to the fullest. So I'll have a good time tonight and probably have a sore head flying back to Florida tomorrow morning.
With the win, Rory McIlroy becomes the 4th player ever to win back-to-back Masters titles, joining Jack Nicklaus, Nick Faldo, and Tiger Woods. Rory now has 6 career major titles, tying him with all-time great Phil Mickelson, as the debate between who's had the better career between the two gets louder. Next week, the PGA Tour returns to Hilton Head for the RBC Heritage. The NBA regular season has come to an end, and that officially puts an end to both the Chicago Bulls and Indiana Pacers seasons, much to the relief of their fan bases. It was a tumultuous year for the Bulls, who traded away franchise cornerstones Kobe White, Ayo Dosunmu, and Nikola Vucevic, and they finished the season 31-51. And after making the NBA Finals last year, the Indiana Pacers won just 19 games. Superstar point guard Tyrese Halliburton missing the entire season with that torn Achilles he suffered in the NBA Finals. The focus shifts to the offseason for both teams, and each have a legitimate shot at landing the number 1 pick in the NBA draft. Finally tonight, Illinois superstar guard Keaton Wagler has officially declared for that NBA draft. Wagler burst onto the scene this season for the Illini, averaging 18 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists per game. Wagler is a top 10 prospect and very well could become a Chicago Bull or Indiana Pacer. That wraps up a loaded Sports Watch report tonight. Now we send it back over to Andrew and Olivia at the desk.
Thanks, Matthew. Still to come, Ben Whitney returns with a final check of the Skywatch forecast.
But first, they love him just the way he is. We'll show you how a Las Vegas honored a pop star. Thanks for watching. This is Newswatch on WEIU.
Tired of the same old playlist? Let Hitmix 88.9 WEIU be your source for your favorite throwbacks and today's biggest hits. No skips needed. From deep dives on local topics, a lively morning show, and EIU Panther sports, we've got your back 24/7. And we're not just hitting play, we're building futures. Because behind every mic is a student making moves. It's your music, your station, Hitmix 88.9 WEIU.
Finally tonight, he may not be a billionaire, but Bruno Mars is getting a big honor in Las Vegas. Over the weekend, Sin City held a parade in honor of the Uptown Funk star on the famous Strip. They also named a street after him. It's something the city has historically done to honor stars, including Elvis, Frank Sinatra, and others. Mars has played on stages in Las Vegas for nearly 15 years. Well, back here at home, it may be warm enough for a parade, but could we see some showers? Ben Whitney is back with a final check of your Skywatch forecast.
Well, tomorrow will be an absolutely gorgeous day during the sunlight hours. 84 degrees for our high in Charleston tomorrow. Winds will stay strong out of the southwest, up to 20 to 25 miles an hour at points, but we are tracking that chance for some overnight severe weather. A slight risk for some of our northern counties north of the I-72 corridor. Many of the central portions only under a marginal risk. We'll continue to track multiple chances for some severe storms over the middle portion of the work week. Overall, we'll stay well above average for this time of year, but those temperatures will be on the drop off by the time we enter the back half of the weekend, back down to the low 50s.
Boy, it was beautiful outside today. It maybe felt a little like Augusta out there. You may know that over there.
Oh, it was absolutely beautiful. If only there wasn't any rain in the forecast, it would be just like Augusta was this weekend. Thanks, Ben, and thank you for joining us tonight. For more news and weather, be sure to log on to our website at WEIU.net.
There you can find real-time forecasts and the news video of the day.
And if news is happening in your community, let us know by dropping us an email at news@WEIU.net.
Have a great night.
The Charleston House proudly supports Newswatch. Now welcoming guests on Charleston's historic 6th Street, the Charleston House Bed and Breakfast Inn offers refined accommodations in a beautifully restored bed and breakfast. For booking information, visit craigcollection.com or call the number on screen.
TCI Realty, Charleston area's real estate connection. Commercial, land and farm, and residential real estate. Experienced realtors with an up-to-date website at tcirealty.net. TCI Realty supports the students of WEIU Newswatch.